No, it's true that realistically, I mean, they're already continuing the series today, and they just released a new one, and also there's just no way you could ever go back and make this original film work. You couldn't release this today because the horror genre's come so far, and I mean, it wouldn't have if there was no Halloween. So I mean, what would it be like if Halloween was cast today for the first time? It would, well, we wouldn't live in this world. It'd be some crazy alternate dimension where the horror genre just never evolved in the same way to what it is. So it's hard to know, really. But we're gonna pretend, we're gonna make believe, we're gonna try it, alright? Michael Myers is very difficult to cast. He doesn't really speak. A lot of these horror icons, they're actually incredibly hard to fan cast. What exactly are you... yeah. I don't know for sure what you would be looking for, but the terrifying moment where you unveil his face and he's got, like, it looks savage and terrifying. I mean, that's mostly down to makeup anyway, not so much acting. But it's then all about body movement. These silent characters, all silent characters, I hate casting them, it's so hard. Because it's about body movement, you've got to think about somebody that just seems like they've got some of that sort of traditional training in acting terms. Like they've got a lot of just unique talent about them. Guys like Bill Skarsgård playing Pennywise, that's different, but he had that down, and you might not have expected him to before you saw him in that role specifically. So it is difficult to know. But I want to cast Jesse Plemons as Michael Myers. Now he's a proper, this isn't just casting a stuntman sort of role. I mean, you could do that, but I don't know the names of many stuntmen. This is casting a proper actor who's done a lot of proper villainous roles lately. He's surprisingly good for them. I wouldn't have thought it, again, before I saw him in the first villain's role he did, and then, from then on, I could imagine him in nothing else. As Michael Myers, I imagine, he seems like he's got body language down so much. You feel characterization oozing off of him as soon as you see him on screen before he even speaks. That's exactly what you need. And it's hard because technically Michael's like 21. Like, he's only been in the original film, he's only been in the hospital for like 15 years. And he was 6 when he killed his sister. So he's only meant to be like 21. So you're meant to cast somebody younger than Jesse Plemons, really, but it doesn't matter. He's masked the whole time, and then when he isn't, it's kind of all make-upped and like fucked up and stuff like that. So it just doesn't matter, yeah. Laurie Strode is another difficult role. It's so iconically Jamie Lee Curtis. It's so... You're wondering, okay, so who modern day kind of is an equivalent to that? I mean, an equivalent to 1978 Jamie Lee Curtis. That's hard. That's definitely so difficult because there's so many more well-known actresses around that age out there. So you don't need to go looking for any kind of unknown. You don't need to go looking for any kind of, teenager, honestly. It's just safest to cast them at about early 20s, at this stage. That is the norm for Hollywood. And it's difficult, but thinking about the main characteristics that stood out from Jamie Lee's original performance as Laurie Strode, I'd like to cast Florence Pugh. No. It does feel like an unusual casting, and it feels kind of basic. There are several things that stand out to me about the original Jamie Lee Curtis performance, okay? There is the voice. She never came off as, like, hugely confident or outspoken, but she seemed intelligent and quite witty when she did. It's important. And because she doesn't speak a whole lot, the kind of body language of this fairly nervous teenager, not that extroverted at all in any shape or form, that's important as well. And I just feel like Florence Pugh would do such a good mixture of bringing that original character back to life as she was then, before she was crazy old lady in the new ones, and updating it. And that's a difficult line to balance, because horror movie final girls have come a long way since the original Halloween, but at the same time the essence is the same, so you just need to straddle that, and it's incredibly difficult. But I think Florence Pugh has the talent and the multitude of experience for her age, again, that would allow her to do this really well. Now, Dr. Sam Loomis, Donald Pleasance originally, classic, no, is another difficult role because, well, he's more... that kind of role in horror movies has stayed the same a lot more than it's changed over the last... oh my god, so many years. Wow. And, I think the most important thing for Dr. Sam Loomis is to think, okay, what do you need him to do for the trailer? You know, he's the trailer guy. How much is he actually in the film? How much is he actually important to the film? Not really. He says the trailery lines that get you going, ooh, ooh, Michael's the embodiment of evil. Ooh, ooh, he's out there somewhere. Ooh, terrifying. But, you know, he doesn't do much else. He literally goes into Michael's house and sits and waits. In the original film, that's what happens. He goes and sits and waits there. Michael very slowly stalks Laurie and kills 2 of her friends. So, I'd like to see Gary Oldman play Sam Loomis. Obvious and easy. Why? He's perfect for the trailer guy. The older, like, trailer guy who says the trailery lines. Like, Dark Knight Rises. What if he can't come back? He must. You know, classic. There are a couple of people out there, well, there's a fair few people out there that could do this kind of role. But Gary Oldman, he just feels like he's got that mixture. Because just Sam Loomis comes off as such a classic. You know, like, you want a classically trained actor. You want an older guy. You want somebody who's spry enough. You know, not too old. Like, spry enough to still move around a bit because has to a bit. But yeah, he's not an overly important character when you actually think about it. When you actually think about him in terms of, like, screen time and, like, adding anything to the story. Like, he's just there to do the, like, bang, 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 bang at the end. Marion Chambers. And you know what interests me? I just remembered Marion Chambers and Sam Loomis. Those names are taken from Psycho, right? And yet, like, things like Scream took names from this. And I mean, now there's, like, new Netflix films and stuff that are taking, like, so many cues and names from Scream. So, oh my god. The whole genre is just a parody of a parody of a parody. It doesn't matter. So, Marion Chambers it's a difficult role again because she's not that old. She's like Loomis's assistant, you know. She'd kind of have a more significant role in this version. I don't know to what degree or what form it would really take, but she'd have something more going on in this version because she would have to. There would just have to be something to that character. I'd like to see Emma Watson play her. And I realise I'm casting quite a few British people here. Actually, almost entirely British people here. But Emma Watson just comes off as that. At the stage she's reaching her career, I imagine her doing this sort of, like, fairly young, like, questioning assistant who is very intelligent because she'd have to be assisting a very prolific psychologist. But there's nothing more to that role, so it feels like something that she could do something with really well, and you want to attach a name to it, a proper name, to kind of encourage them almost to do something more with that character. Just give her anything to do, please God. Annie Beckett is Laurie's friend. She is babysitting the girl across the street from where Laurie is with the little boy. Yes, all right, yeah. And she just again, how much character do any of the characters have in this? Laurie a fair bit. Michael, I guess, some. Nobody else really has much character, no. Annie is just meant to be there to be the first one killed. Well, Michael kills somebody to escape. And I guess he kills his sister. She's there to be killed. but to kind of be around for a while first to, like, seem like a less responsible version of Laurie. You know, Laurie is the perfect one. She's so great. She's protecting the kids. And he's just going to go try and pick up her boyfriend, whatever. I'm going to cast Maya Hawke. Now, she's already done the whole Scream Queen who gets killed pretty quickly thing in Fear Street, but she's perfect for that kind of role. She feels like she's still around the age that she can get away with playing a teenager easily enough. And she's just great. Maya Hawke's just fantastic. She's just good for everything, and she's memey. She's a memey person to cast after doing Stranger Things and Fear Street. It's just kind of like, yeah, go ahead, cast her in Halloween. Go on, why not? And I mean, the same thing goes for Linda Vanderklok. Linda Vanderklok? Oh my goodness. And again, you just want to cast somebody who's kind of competent, good, can come off as this. I mean, Linda is just there to have sex and then get killed, yeah. I'm going to cast Sydney Sweeney, yeah. She recently did the leading role in The Voyeurs, where I already talked about her doing this and have fan cast her since. She's great, even in a bad film there. I thought it was a bad film. She came off as amazing and really talented and good at so many different things. and kind of playing the sexy while also playing the introverted kind of teen. All of that, she just nailed every part of it at once. So it's easy to cast her in roles like this, and I will probably just continue doing so until I realize, ooh, God, she's like nearing 30, and I should stop casting her as a teenager. And finally, and it was suggested that I add this in to fan casts, and I never really did, but I kind of feel like it's a good idea. Director. Especially when it comes to all these reboots, it's important to think about the style of it and the flair, and we talk about that often, and yet I don't normally cast a director. This one, I mean, it was John Carpenter originally, you know? It's famous, and for good reason. He's that good. You know, sometimes. I've seen some that I don't love, but you think about his best films. You think about Escape from New York. Escape from New York, great film. You know who's rebooting that right now? Leigh Whannell, who also did the Invisible Man reboot recently. And you add together, this is assuming, but I have faith in him after watching The Invisible Man. You take that, the style of horror, the freakiness, the uniqueness of it, and the way that worked as still being super scary modern day. You add that to him being able to reboot something John Carpenter did. He's perfect for a Halloween remake. He's just perfect. That is something I would love to see. I just want to see him do more horror films, honestly. I love the Invisible Man reboot. Holy shit. That is all for this one, but you know what to do down below. If you want to subscribe, you do the subscribe thing. Do that. Yeah. No, you should. Please. And there's like other fan casts. There's stuff. Suggest more. Why not? Yeah, whatever. You just do it. Go for it. Whatever.